I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
This is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. There's another paid request, this time from Andrew Patterson. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of video, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, this is for a film called Vision Quest, which is a film I've heard of. It's from the mid-80s. It's directed by Harold Becker. Harold Becker did films like Malice. That's the movie with Alec Baldwin saying, "You want to say I have a God complex? Let me tell you, I am God." Sea of Love, pretty decent Al Pacino film. Mercury Rising, which is a Bruce Willis flick, I think it's underrated. I think, whether you want to say the plot's realistic, okay, no, but I thought it was an entertaining film. I thought Bruce Willis and Alec Baldwin both did a good job in it. And I buy that plot more than the plot in The Predator, where you talk about little kids having special gifts. Mercury Rising I have more fun with. But Vision Quest, I know it has a good, high reputation. I wasn't really a fan of it. I'm sorry. I don't know if this is a rant, because I wouldn't say I hated the film. Because it's a coming-of-age story. It's a story involving sports. Matthew Modine, who would later be in Full Metal Jacket. He's a character who is in school, and he's the top of his class in amateur wrestling. He's like the top dog in amateur wrestling, but now he wants to go 2 weight classes down to like 168, because he wants to take on this other guy who's like known throughout the area as the best wrestler. And people are saying, hey, it's dangerous for you to get that low because you're easing on 198 to get to 168. That's below where you should be. This don't cause health problems. And it does. He feigns, he gets nosebleeds, but he keeps at it to get to 168 to wrestle this one guy. Meanwhile, this woman, played by Linda Fiorentino, her car gets screwed up, and Matthew Modine's dad, played by Ronny Cox, from the original Total Recall and RoboCop, Matthew Modine gets his dad to get her to live with them for a bit until the car's fixed up, because she's on her way to, I want to say it was San Francisco, and then he falls in love with her, and even though she's an older lady, they eventually start a little bit of a relationship. As it pretty much cuts to him trimming down to get to this weight and in this relationship. Now, I've seen many well, that's a weird way to put it. If I say it the wrong way, I've seen a lot of coming videos, but I can't show you. They're on Pornhub. But I've seen a lot of coming of age videos, and I've seen a lot of sports movies. And I just think of, there's many others I enjoy more than this. Whether, yeah, I could say Rocky, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, or The Karate Kid Part 2, but also Youngblood I enjoyed more than this, with Patrick Swayze, or Rad, The Tale of Crew Jones. I enjoyed more than this. This one, I'm sitting there and I'm going, okay, I get where it's going. I get what it's trying to do, but I don't care for the soundtrack. I don't care for the music, the songs. I don't give a shit about amateur wrestling. I'm more into pro wrestling. Yeah, that's more fake. I know, but I'm just saying that interests me more than amateur wrestling. It just, for me, it's not an interesting thing to watch. It's like there's some people who don't like football, even in movies. Some don't like baseball, even in movies. For me, I can deal with those in movies if done the right way. Amateur wrestling just doesn't do anything for me. It's not that exciting or thrilling to me. And then Matthew Modine, he was an unlikable character. It got to a point where literally he forces Linda Fiorentino down and wants to try to fuck her. And it's like this close to raping her. I've seen naked men before, and he's like, yeah, I bet you have. She ain't your fucking property. Fuck do you want, buddy? And I'm not being like a PC prude. It's just in this, he came off as a fucking asshole. And also, it's weird because Matthew Modine looks like he's 30 years old, but he's in high school. But you could say that for a lot of movies in the 80s. But it felt... And again, just the way he behaved. Like, it's hard to see this as an underdog story when at the beginning he's already the top of his class. Like, I mean, he's already doing well in wrestling, and then he gets one weight below. He beats this guy who's a buddy of his, and then he's again the champion of that weight, that class weight. Weight class, I meant. Class weight. He's the champion of that weight class. So again, maybe the movie's not trying to deem it as an underdog story, but at the same time, this does seem like many of those other movies I mentioned, like Youngblood or Karate Kid or Rad, they felt like more... One of the appealing things about those stories is the underdog quality. I don't see any underdog quality to this guy. What's underdog about him? He's doing well. He did well at this weight class. Then he's doing well. His coach treats him well. His coach is not an asshole. It's actually played by Charlie Hallahan. The guy in John Carpenter's The Thing, his chest opens up. And that great scene with the paddles and John Carpenter's The Thing. He's down the table and his chest opens up and chews up the arms. That's Charlie Hallahan. He's been in other stuff too. He was in, I think, Warlock 2, The Armageddon. He was in Executive Decision with Kurt Russell, once again. And he's not treating him like shit. He has a friendly English professor, Harold Sylvester, who I remember as one of the characters in Uncommon Valor. He was one of the helicopter pilots in that. His dad, Ronny Cox, he's a bit oblivious, but he's not that bad of a guy. He's a bit oblivious. So I'm looking at his life. There's nothing in his life. There's nothing in the story to, again, really make us feel sorry for the guy, to help us root for the guy, to get 2 weight classes down. It seems like a guy who's more... In another movie, he'd be the villain. In another movie, he'd be the villain against Daniel LaRusso. And he... Like, again, Matthew Modine's character I did not like much at all. I did not find him likable. I did not find him much to root for. I mean, I don't have issues with the acting. Matthew Modine, Linda Fiorentino. Forrest Whitaker's in the film as one of the students at school. Again, it's just the story didn't interest me. The sport doesn't interest me. And the songs, there's people in it that I like on the soundtrack. Journey, Sammy Hagar, Madonna. Madonna, I like the song from... the Sean Penn film, At Close Range. I guess you call it the main song in the film At Close Range. I like that Madonna song. Sammy Hagar, Over the Top, another sports underdog story. Yeah, I got more excitement out of an arm wrestling movie than amateur wrestling. But Stallone and this, like, that's a film that has a great soundtrack, and that's an underdog story that you really felt for the character of Lincoln Hawk, where his kid wants nothing to do with him, and the letters he sent got brushed away by Robert Loggia's character, and like, they did a nice job establishing Stallone's character in that. And like the soundtrack here, I like these performers, but I don't give a shit about any of these songs. Youngblood, I like the song In the Fire, the Desire, in the Fire, or Rad, Got Thunder in Your Heart, or Break the Ice. Of course, Karate Kid Part 2, Your Glory of Love, Karate Kid, You're the Best Around, or It's the Moment of Truth. Of course, the Rocky films, It's the Eye of the Tiger, It's the Thrill of the Fight, or Rocky 4, Hearts on Fire, Sweet is Victory, Over the Top, Meet Me Halfway, or Take It Higher. None of these songs elicited that much of an iota of reaction or emotion than I did in those. And some of those films I didn't grow with Youngblood, but I liked it. You know, some of these other movies. This one, I didn't care about any of the songs. I didn't care about the story. I didn't care about the characters. So I guess this is a bit of a rant, but I don't know. I'll probably forget the title in the video. Or I'll just say, rant I'll leave for movies I'm really, really mad at. But just, if you like the film, cool. But, I mean, Matthew Modine, he just seems like more of an asshole. Like, cocky. Oh, I could do this, I'm going to drop 2 weight classes. Oh, hey, buddy, this could kill you. You get nosebleeds, you're fainting. No, I'm going to do it because I need to prove something. You're already at the top of your weight class here. Then you got to the top of your weight class in the one... wait, was it 198 or 188? Because I thought he had to go 2 weight classes down. That was 168. So maybe it was 188 he was at, not 198. But either way, it's like, then you beat your buddy, then you're at the top of that weight class. I'm like, no, I don't care. Someone says it best. Like, Charlie Hallahan, the coach, is trying to tell him reason. I'm not going to let you ruin yourself for some silly dream of glory. Sadly, at this point, I gotta go with the coach. This is not one of those, like, Rocky, which I know people don't bring up in Rocky. You just say the same thing about with him and Adrian, where he kind of pushes a little bit. But this one seemed more violent. Like, with Rocky, at least that's slow, and it's easy going, and they both slide to the floor. Here, Matthew Modine literally pushes her down and gets on top of her. And I'm like, fuck this guy. Like, he's much more of a violent. And she even goes, you know, I want someone who doesn't think a stiff cock is the height of romance. And then a love story. I'm like, I don't buy this love story. And again, the amateur wrestling, a sport that just does nothing for me. Even the way it ends is ruined. Because you have the freeze frame. Okay, he wins, freeze frame. And then it's ruined because you have like a full minute of dialogue. And any momentum, any cusp, that edge of excitement, the longer he talks, the more it dwindles. And dwindles and dwindles. As he's going on about, we gotta love those people like no tomorrow. Because when you get right to it, there isn't. I'm like, all this talking and jaw-jacking is dwindling this. That's why Rocky, that's why Karate Kid. Could you imagine Karate Kid and Rocky ending with the freeze frame, and then you hear a minute of dialogue? Where's your hat? I love you. And then it freezes on Rocky, and then you hear Rocky going, hey, yo, Um, I learned a lesson. Like, what the hell would he say? Sometimes you gotta keep fighting. And even when you lose, you really win. You know what I'm saying? It would ruin it. It's just like, okay, now you're losing me, losing me. Same with the Karate Kid. Imagine, the freeze frame and Miyagi does the wink. Now can you imagine a whole minute of Daniel LaRusso talking, you know what? I went to the school, things weren't that good, but sometimes it's the people that you meet. And sometimes it's it's just like, well, what the fuck? I'm sorry, Harold Becker, you looked at the films he did other than this. Malice, of Love, Mercury Rising. They're all thrillers of different aspects. That's more his wheelhouse. That's why I don't think he did much of this kind of movie. Because the thriller aspect was more of his comfort zone. I think he works better here. He works better there than here. But I know a lot of people like this film. I don't get it. Teach their own. Again, people like, why did you not like it? I've said it before. I'll repeat it. Matthew Modine's unlikable. Almost tries to fucking rape Linda Fiorentino. Comes off as a cocky, pushy guy who is almost dying because of his own ego. That's what it just felt like, ego. The songs, I like the performers, but the songs, I would never listen to these songs on my own. Usually after a movie, if I like a song, I go on YouTube, I find it, oh wow, I listen to it a couple times. Not here. Didn't give a shit about any of these songs. And again, amateur wrestling isn't that interesting to me, and other than noticing familiar faces, like, oh, there's Forrest Whitaker. Oh, there's Harold Sylvester. I remember from Uncommon Valor. That's all I really got out of this. So yeah, I wasn't really a fan of this movie. Sorry. I would rather watch, I don't even know if I have it over here. Yeah, I do. But it's gonna... nah, it's not. I'll leave it there. I was going to take out Rad. I'd rather watch Rad again. I'd rather watch Youngblood again. I'd rather watch Karate Kid 1 and 2 again. The Rocky films. And more so. Just my opinion. Just, Kickboxer. All sorts of movies. I would rather watch than this. So, if you like it, teach their own. Not really for me. I did Matthew Modine. Wannabe rapist. Fuck him. Fuck the character, honestly. Kind of a piece of shit character, in my opinion. Just me. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.